Hello. In this video, we will show you a live demo of the Forklift-Simulator. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So on the screen, you can select different languages. We have the Forklift-Simulator available in English and Spanish and also Dutch. But in this presentation, we will show it to you in English. As you can see, we have over 40 exercises built into our software, and we have broken them down into 10 different categories. As you can see here, if we select one of these courses, in this case forward driving, we break it down into 4 different objectives, 4 different tests on different skill levels in operations. We'll jump into another one. So we'll drive in the very first exercise that we get in our forklift simulator, which is driving controls. I think what's really important to note here as we look into the software, let me transition the screen so we could see both the driver and the viewer at the same time. So as you can see, as Francisco is moving around, the environment is moving with him as well. And this is such a big advantage because if he leans outside the truck, so does his perception inside the VR headset. And that's very important, especially when you need to operate a forklift. Furthermore, you can't really achieve this with a monitor on a screen because it doesn't give you the depth or the scale, let alone participating in the environment with his actual head and body. So Francisco is going to go ahead and take us through this first lesson. And this is really an introduction course into getting used to VR, a VR simulation inside the forklift simulator. So as you can see, all the hardware controls are all OEM parts by Hyster-Yale. Everything that an operator will put his hands on, he will put his hands on inside the forklift simulator. So physically, where the steering wheel is located is also located inside the software. At the end of each exercise, a user will get a completed score. In this case, Frank got a gold medal for achieving a perfect score with no mistakes. Let's go into another lesson that goes a little bit deeper into what we're actually doing. So we're going to go ahead and select number 6, driving with load, and we're going to be practicing in different surfaces. So first and foremost, just to reiterate, notice how Frank can look around, even check the alignment of his wheels to make sure that they're straight. Notice he's physically having to lean outside the truck. And once more, that's a big advantage for a lot of companies that also want to train behavior and not just operational skills. It's pretty neat how we have the light also simulated inside the software. So if you're in dark areas, you could turn the lights on. You'll see how there's yellow arrows to show the user where he or she needs to go. And we highlight the box to tell you which pallet our operator needs to pick. Once it's picked, an audio cue is sent off to Francisco that he knows that it's fully loaded. And you also see how the arrows have actually changed in directions after he picked his load. So it's telling the user in a very subtle way where he or she needs to go. For this demo, we just want to show you quickly around our environment, just to show you an example of what we have here. Everything is moving in real time, so the physics, as well as the mirrors. So if Fran was to drive fast over this bump, he'll see how his packages are jumbling around. If you move too fast, those packages will fall off and actually account for damage. Here's the drop-off point that's highlighted in yellow. He's using his tilt and proper use of his mast. He's checking behind him as he's backing up in reverse. And parking brake goes in neutral and switching it off. Okay, great. So Frank got a bronze medal. Let's take a quick look into the mistakes that he had. He wasn't quick enough to our standards, which is something that you would be able to change as a user. And another mistake he had was his forks were in between 6 and 16 feet. Inches, excuse me, off the ground. So this is a subtle thing that's pretty hard to catch in real life, but we could catch inside our software. But overall, Fran did a great job in our exercise here. We want to show you something really quick since we have your time. We want to show you different pedestrians and different kind of environments that we have. So Francisco, you think you could do one of the special, one of the test courses that we have, and maybe just show us around? Perfect. We'd like to show you an exercise that has pedestrians in the environment. So, Fran, if you could focus on the pedestrian for us for a little bit, you'll see how there's pedestrians walking around, and if you drive up to it, you need to acknowledge that pedestrian by honking at him. So, as you take a look in the bottom left of your screen, you'll see Fran physically doing the motion, and then the bigger screen on your right will be obviously the software. It's really important to note too, if you take a look at the bottom left screen in the corner, you'll notice that the screen monitor is in front of the forklift simulator. This is a great way for trainers to see what Fran is seeing, or in this case, to see what a forklift operator is seeing. You could really give some very detailed feedback into how they're approaching problems and how they should go about their daily work tasks. Fran is honking the pedestrian to acknowledge that he is there, and the pedestrian will move out the way. You'll also see on the right that there's also automated forklifts driving around. So if you need to train drivers on working with other forklifts or even working with autonomous machines, it's another great way to practice with that. Notice that we're side loading a truck. In all our exercises, we break down a lot of these different skill sets. We really wanted to train the entire gamut and also be able to train any experienced user, from someone that's brand new as a novice to someone that's experienced in forklift operations. Let's go ahead and we'll just transition to a different viewpoint here. You notice that this is a top view of Francisco driving the forklift. Notice his fingertips are being utilized here. He's moving his head, the steering wheel, all together. And this is what the big advantage of virtual reality is, and this is why simulation training makes you feel that you are present inside that space. We want our users to feel like they're actually there, that they're actually training with purpose. One last thing, virtual reality in our forklift simulator is not only a visual experience, but it's also an audio experience. And that's very important to note if you want to train users not only getting aware of the different noises that a forklift will make, but also getting aware of what the work life will feel like. Whether it's an open house environment or an indoor warehouse. You can imagine that there are many benefits to using the forklift simulator. A lot of the companies that we work with today use it for driving, they use it for training, they use it for screening. They also use it to build morale and also build a culture, reestablish the culture in some cases, to really emphasizing not only good forklift operation skills, but also safe behavior. If you're ever interested in wanting to get in touch with us, you could find us out on Forklift-Simulator.com, or you could contact us in our office here in the United States at info@forklift-simulator.com. We really thank you for your time, and we hope that you get to try our forklift simulator one day.